unfortunate, but I didn't want people to turn up a bit late and they couldn't come in.
You're smart.
We'll wave.
Yes.
We'll wave enthusiastically. People come. Okay, good evening and welcome everybody. It's really nice to see quite a few people here today. Obviously this is our annual general meeting, and my final task as a non-councillor now, really, or only for the next sort of half hour or so. So really it just sits with me to read out my little bit of spiel here. I will keep it brief, and then if there are any questions anybody wants to ask, then obviously you're welcome to do so. Is there anything you need to add at that point, Richard? Okay. So obviously welcome to Oakham Town Council Annual General Meeting. It is my last duty as Chair of the Council and as Mayor to deliver this summary of my year in office. It's been a challenging year for me on many levels. These challenges have been due to personal family illness, professional change of my role, and also the challenges that accompany the responsibility of chairing Oakham Town Council, which has undergone several changes of membership over the last year. But also it's been a challenge, well, it's been an absolute pleasure to represent the town as Mayor. At this point, I would just, because we've had lots of changes this year, I'd just like to make a special mention of Maureen Dodds, who retired from the council due to ill health this year, and she committed many, many years to the council. So I think it's just worth remembering her at this moment. I couldn't remember how many years she did actually, but it was quite a lot. Was it 12, 13 years, something like that? Yeah. It's of course been a great honour and privilege to attend the many events that I've been invited to over the year. And these have included military establishments within our county and hosting the Freedom of Entry for the 504 Squadron. This was a particularly proud moment for me, as 504 Squadron originated from Nottingham, and I am of course a Nottingham lass, proud to say. 2014-15 of course has been the start of 5 years of commemoration for World War I, and it has been an opportunity for us all to reflect on the sacrifices made to give us the freedoms that we enjoy today. And we of course have attended many services and events in relation to that World War I commemorations. I'm sure they will continue for the next few years, but all have been very, I hesitate to say enjoyable, because of course it's not a pleasure to remember those people that died, but it's been a privilege, and I think all of the events that have been put on have been put on in the most tasteful and respectful way, and I'm sure many of you have attended those. Well, of course, another major event this year was the visit for Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall, who presented a horseshoe that is now on display in the castle. I had the privilege of receiving them into the town and also meeting them later on at the castle, where I managed to get a little bit of conversation, although of course they're really busy people, but they were lovely and very, very nice to meet. I've been part of the many projects. The Oakham Castle Restoration Project is something I'm really been proud to be part of, and of course we've secured funds, well not just us personally, but I've been part of the larger group that secured funds so that building will remain intact and in good condition for years way beyond our lifetime, and work will be starting on that in the forthcoming year. Willow Crescent Play Park was an area that I wanted to put some effort into improving, and we've been successful in that. A grant was secured, topped up by local companies and Oakham Town Council, and we've improved and modernised the facilities for that, for the younger children on that particular park. Skate park in Cuts Close is in desperate need of renovation, and again there has been some efforts put in, and we've secured grants plus money from Oakham Town Council, and improvements to that facility will be occurring within the next few months. I don't start that. I wasn't sure. End of the year. Oh right, okay, so end of June, so hopefully that will be done for the summer, which will be really good. Another project, of course, was the mural project, which is on Jail Street. Again, It was interesting to be part of that, to see it developed and how they involved the whole community in getting those pictures together. And hopefully they will last for many years. I know there's a little bit of a problem with them at the moment, and I'm sure it's a teething problem and they'll be able to sort that out. As a council, of course, we've continued doing all the things that we do, and I think often people will say, what does Oakham Town Council do? And for me, I've always answered that question with, you know, we do a lot of the soft things around town that actually people don't really notice, but would notice if they weren't done. So it's keeping those parks clean and tidy, and that's okay. And supporting projects like Oakham Bloom, and they're all really important projects. If we weren't involved in them, I'm sure people would notice that. And of course, we continue with our park concerts during the summer months, and of course last year we had proms in the park, which Joyce was very much involved in, and I know everybody thoroughly enjoyed. So that brings me to the Christmas lights. We couldn't possibly end this evening without talking about the Christmas lights and the joy of social media that put out the problem across the country. There was a problem with the installation of the lights and the tree, and that was solved ultimately. But what I would like to say was what was reflected within this town was the fantastic community spirit, as that replacement tree was put up by Ashwell Garden Centre and the people that worked there, and the many people in this town who came out on a very cold, very wet winter Sunday morning to replace it and redecorate that tree and make it in good condition in time for the Christmas fair in town. So just to reassure everybody that the Christmas lights will be on the Oakham Town agenda over the coming months. Obviously, I will no longer be part of that, but I'm sure every effort will be made to make sure they improve each year. Some of the outstanding projects that we've got are, we're still under discussions with Rutland County Council about the management of the cemetery, and that will eventually be coming to Town Council, but obviously we need to be sure that we're taking it on in good condition and that everybody's happy with the management of that. And also under discussion at the moment is the possibility of moving Oakham Town Council out to its own premises on Voices Playground. But again, that's not absolutely finalised. It's something that's being researched and looked into. And if it's thought to be beneficial both to the council and to the town, then that's where the council will be moving to. As you're aware, I've supported the charity for Rutland in Rutland this year, and I've managed to raise just short of £1,500, which was done through the Mayor's Ball, afternoon tea, which I did in my garden, and selling cakes at the band concerts. And I'd like to make a special thanks to everybody who attended or supported those events. Okay, and now it just remains with me to thank all of the councillors who I know work extremely hard throughout the year just on behalf of Oakham Town, and also the clerk, Richard, and Deputy Clerk Alison, who have also worked extremely hard. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish the council and the new councillors and everybody all the best for this forthcoming 4 years. Thank you. Okay, so it just leaves me with the opportunity to throw it out to the floor, really. Does anybody have anything they'd like to raise or say? Yeah, Mr. Beach, would you like to?
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Still there.
Can
I first of all say thank you very much for your year. You've worked extremely hard. And I can tell you that we are extremely grateful in the town that you took on that responsibility. And you did it with panache. So thank you for that. Nice to see the clerk back, looking in fine fettle. And certainly Alison for standing in and taking on that mantle. There is something I'd like to say. I think what you're doing in the town, I think is brilliant. With the bunting in particular, I think certainly sets us apart. We're part and parcel of a lot of towns in this country that can do nothing because they don't take pride in what they do. And I think what the town council has done with regard to the bunting is brilliant. It's brightened it up, it makes it welcome, and that's the important thing. In addition to which, are you going to extend it down Mill Street and further up to the West End? Because I think that, you know, we sort of Mill Street, okay, it's a nice pretty place with a lot of expensive shops, but you know, it still needs to be brightened up maybe with a bit of bunting, and the same with the West End as well. Any ideas? No,
thank you,
on that?
and thank you for your kind comments. I really appreciate that. There are thoughts and plans about extending sort of the town decoration out through to West End. It is difficult on Mill Street because obviously the buildings are a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And putting bunting up could be a problem in terms
of
go
across.
Traffic coming across. But you know, there's no reason why that also can't be considered in the forthcoming months, and maybe that's the promotion group would look at that. Sorry, Joyce, did you want to make a comment?
Just to say that's in hand for next year down Mill Street.
Oh, is it right?
We have got the flag poles ready to put in.
Excellent.
But we just need the money. So it's
it's
ongoing programme, but it will happen.
Yeah, thank you. Can I just one more question about freedom of entry, the current one coming, or the one coming up? You're from Nottingham, I'm from Derbyshire, and this is a Derbyshire squadron, a Leicestershire and Derbyshire squadron. On the invitation, it says formal dress. Now, formal dress means bow tie, jacket. If you're expecting people to turn up in formal dress, then it ain't going to happen. But those of us that consult the Brets every day will note that it should be, I think anyway, it should be lounge suit. You still wear medals with lounge suits, and medals weren't mentioned either.
Okay.
So that's just
formal
dress on the invite is what is said.
Okay, I think the invite reflects the previous ones, but that's fine. I'll take that on board. That's a reasonable comment, and I'm sure people can be sure they don't need to come in a bow tie for top hat, bow tie.
It comes out 4 times a year, and I don't think it could stand a 5th.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah. I don't think you know, but Patsy Clifton, and I'm chairman of CPRB, Protection of Rural England. I'm very disappointed that the Town Council has not made, it appears to me, and to any publicity, any attempt to do a neighbourhood scheme, i.e. a planning for the next 10 years. Uppingham have done a wonderful scheme. Lots of the parishes round in Rutland equally have done one, and I just feel that you are letting the people of Oakham down by not having a plan that I am aware of. Now, if I am wrong, and it has already been started, and it is well in hand, then I apologise for raising it. But I would like to point out, even so, you are probably 18 months behind the rest. Why?
Okay, thank you. Take on board your comments. I think Mr. Jewis would like to
If I can
respond
answer
to that.
that. The reason that we haven't started yet is that we're relying on resources from Rutland County Council, because they're only able to assist the certain number of councils each year. They allotted us to start in 2016, next year. So that's where we plan to start.
That wasn't broadcast.
No, nothing's been broadcast at the moment.
No.
And the point is that during the next year, all the councils will be up to speed on what the neighbourhood plan is and what's involved. So we have it in hand and we'll be working towards it.
That's good.
Okay.
Mr. Brooks.
I'd like to dispute that because many people have asked me why the Town Council doesn't have a plan. I won't mention names, but I asked the councillor in this room why we don't have it, why Uppingham is far ahead, and I was told that Uppingham will regret it. I feel that Oakham Town Council doesn't want to do it because they don't actually want the involvement of the wider community, which is essential when you take up a plan like that. There has been no reason in law or any other reason why you could not have started the process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Jason.
Yeah, Mr. Brooks is now a councillor who will be fully involved during the coming year. So,
I'm pleased to hear that we're going to start one. That's a positive move.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Well, I wait events.
We all do.
Anybody else have any questions to ask? No?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Could I just ask a question? I have noticed as I've driven along the Melbourne Road that it looks as though they're demolishing Lonsdale House.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that there wasn't an order that they couldn't demolish that house. I might be wrong.
It's not listed now.
It's not listed
No,
as it is.
No, actually, I've taken a telephone call about that today, and I didn't know the answer because I didn't realise they'd started demolishing it. But I understand it's not
it's very sad.
either. It is a sad loss.
We
I
seem
think.
to be losing all the old
Yeah.
things that were part of, you know, I mean, the place is being completely overtaken by these huge housing estates, and we're losing everything that was part of something that is has always been here. You know, Lord Lonsdale lived there, he's famous for many things, and I think it's a shame that nobody seems to think we should save anything of importance anymore. Just demolish it, get rid of it. I think it's very sad.
I agree. Apparently, somebody was telling me today, I don't know whether this is true, that the AA was started there.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Is that right? Yeah.
No, it wasn't there.
Oh, it wasn't that. Sorry, that's just
He was instrumental in starting the AA because he had yellow Rolls Royces.
That's why the colour of the AA is yellow.
Right.
Because Lord Lonsdale, all his servants, everybody wore yellow livery and the yellow Rolls Royce.
Yellow
He died there. Lord Lonsdale died in Lonsdale House.
I suppose it's really, sorry, Richard Clifton, I take on board what has been said about the neighbourhood plan, but actually that's a prime example of why we need the neighbourhood plan, because actually you could put in there how you want the character of the town to stand.
Yeah.
And I think it really does highlight why that's important. I'm sorry if I have to dispute that the town council could have got on with it. You do end up with a precept within the county, within everybody's council tax. You could decide as a county to actually move forward with that. And I think the town council need to look at the proportion that they actually spend on administration of other things. If the general public were to look at that, they might argue, well, why hasn't things like the town plan been done? So it's good that the county council and yourselves can work together, but actually Lang got onto it without very much help at all. Lang Parish Council got on with theirs without any help really at all, and they got their own grant and applied for it. So I don't think it is a good enough excuse, I'm afraid, to say that's why we do that.
Sorry,
Come back to that one.
Yeah.
What you've got to realise is that Oakham covers about a third of the county, a third of the population, and it's a massive task for Oakham Town Council. I mean, if you're doubting that, have worked with Terry King, who has been involved in it. And it was agreed that we would start in 2016 with them. So we are now in the process of preparing finally to go from. Langham, I would suggest to you, is a lot smaller than Oakham.
I was using Langham as an example, but I take on board what you say, and I'll be as supportive as I can to actually make that happen, because I think it is just as important that we have to make it. But for me, I would hope to see that the main priority, to be frank, you know, Bunton and everything's really lovely, but actually the main priority for me, I'd like to see out of the town council.
It all goes towards it.
It all goes towards it, but actually if we don't have a plan, we won't have a
Yeah, but you take that there, what you're actually saying is that, you know, remove that. That's what you've just said.
No,
We have got, yeah, but that's what you're inferring. It's not important.
no, what
It is important.
I'm not disputing it's not important to make the town look attractive, and I absolutely take that on board. But if we don't have a town plan for the future, we won't have a town to look
I agree with you on that, but don't diminish what's been done.
I apologise. That wasn't
welcoming.
That
Okay,
wasn't my
I think we've sort of got the message that there's a disappointment that it hasn't been started earlier. We've obviously Mr. Jewis has explained that there is a plan to start. So I think that's probably fairly covered. Did you want... Sorry, Mr. Crooks had his hand up first.
All right, I won't go on, but I was just going to say that from what people tell me, they keep reminding me that we are the county town. Rutland County Council, if you've attended planning meetings, constantly use the fact that we don't, I can say we because I'm now a councillor, don't contribute towards planning matters. They use it in their favour by saying Oakham Town Council don't object. So I'm hoping with the new council that we can work on the plan which will protect things like Lonsdale House, which is gone now, amongst all the trees that have been chopped down again. I've photographed them today. It's shocking. And if I can just finish on the thing about why I campaign for those things, because this town is based on tourism. You mentioned about Lord Lonsdale. We've got Barleythorpe Hall, which is not quite in our parish, but connected. The man did set up the automobile, or the family did. Mr. Beach would like to know that he was also a famous boxer. Mrs. Clifton would also like to know that he was a Tory politician. So there is history. Yeah, there is history there. And we're losing. I wasn't brought up in this town, but I'm proud of Oakham. And we are losing all our history. It's happened since the 1970s, you know, not far from here. A Methodist chapel went, the cinema went. And eventually people won't want to come to the town because there'll be nothing to see. Sorry, I've got it.
Okay, yeah, I think we've probably covered
Thank you, anyway.
So, unless you want a last quick word.
No. I'm quite happy to let that rest.
Okay, thank you.
Right, now I had another hat. As a lot of you will know, I used to have a shop. And when I was Chamber of Trade existed, which I'm sorry it doesn't exist to any degree now in Oakham, which is a very sad thing. The Christmas lights are wonderful, and it is very good that the Town Council do it. And I wish the Town Council had possibly more input to what you put on as a late night shop. Because the late night shop is just an introduction of a fair down the middle of High Street. It disrupts every business that is in town. It faces inwards and not outwards. It is the end of everything that is retail. And if nobody was on that committee that was retail, if the Town Council backed it, I think it was appalling. Sorry. Shut up now.
No, you're perfectly entitled to.
As a supplementary to that, very good point, Mrs. Clifton. Who organises that? Is that?
Well, it always used to be the council. I don't know who it is now.
Town partnership.
Oh, well, that's come after me. I didn't have anything to do with the partnership. And if that's all the partnership can do, will it please pack up?
Mr. Dukes.
Sorry, can I come back? The people who organise the Christmas event are the retailers in the town. On the partnership, we have a separate subcommittee of which there's approximately 8 people, of which 6 or 7 of them are retailers. So it is retailer-led, not town council-led or partnership-led.
Okay.
I'm amazed.
It's dire.
I think the membership of Town Partnership has changed recently, I understand, hasn't it, to be more retail involvement, which they did struggle to get people to be part of that group. If you've been part of Chamber of Trade, you'd understand those difficulties.
Oh,
but I know there has been an increase in...
Because I hear we might have racing cars going up and down High Street on Sunday. Why? Why in the world would Oakham want racing cars going up and down High Street?
To bring tourists in.
Well,
You really think tourists would come when you've only got a burn? Like you did, I mean, how many shops opened when we had the cycle race? We're obviously on a different way then.
okay, thank you. Appreciate your comments.
Sorry.
No, you're perfectly entitled to come.
Yes, it's my one
State
year
your,
day.
yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with that at all.
I think the town partnership can benefit from Mrs. Clifton's advice, so perhaps you might like to join it to influence it.
Oh dear.
Well, I was invited. invited, I might.
I think you have to apply.
Right.
Yes, finally, on that note, I'm a little disturbed to see that every single town councillor stood without, and got elected without having to stand for election unopposed, and that there are still 3 places on the town council unfilled. I very much hope with the town partnership, the town council and all the other little cliques around the town, that the days of regarding these organisations as private clubs to which people are invited or have to apply to become a member of are well over, and that all people who have been politically unopposed elected to this council will be given a reasonable chance to contribute. This council has been notorious for being a little private blackboarding club. It's time those days stopped.
Thank you. Any other comments? No? Okay, well thank you very much for attending. I really appreciate you coming. I really appreciate all of your comments that are made. They have been noted, and there's some good things that have come out of this evening's conversations. I think it's good to bring things out in the open. Thank you.